Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Shulchan Aruch Hayomi Iyun. Today we have an interesting halacha. Halacha says, Lamed Gimel, Halacha Gimel, or to a Sarashim, or Behema Chaya Ve'of, Sarashim Uba Lishmo, it has to be tanned Lishmo, right? Halacha Majusina continues here to a Shchoros, Bachutz, they have to be black. It's also Halacha Majusina have to be black. Now, the question is, so that is ma'akev, right? On the underside doesn't have to be black, but on the top part of your ritzuos, whatever is essential for being a ritzuos, which is ritzuos that tightens it around your head and that tightens around your arm and is long enough to tie around 3 wrappings around your middle finger. So that is the essential ritzuos, that is ma'akev, that holds you back from the mitzvah. So those things have to be black. There's a discussion whether you have to do it lishma or not, the blackening lishma. But it's clear that Al Sinai for the dio, for the ink that you write the parshios in the tefillin has to be black. That's ma'akev, and also the ritzuos have to be black, the essential ritzuos. But as the Mishnah Berurah points out, he says we see from Simon Lamed Beis in Sifkat and Mem, Sif Mem, where he says Ora Batim Mitzvah Asoso Shachot. You don't have to. The rush is a rush he brings. There's no lechatchila is supposed to be black, but you don't have to make your bottom. This is interesting. People don't know this, but technically, b'di'evid, your yotze, even if your bottom were green, I don't know, they would be kosher. B'di'evid, no one knows about this, but everyone has it black. But it doesn't have to be black, the bottom. So what's going on? What's the explanation? Why did the ritzuos and the ksiva, the dio, the ink that you write the parshios and so on, have to be black? But when it comes to the bottom, the outside of the bottom, everyone thinks those are the most prominent part. You're in shin dollar, you're shin. The outside shin is on the black. It doesn't have to be black, it can be green, blue. How could it be? But the Evid, of course. So I like to explain like this, that based on, I gave my first year Yeshiva's YouTube, I completed Yeshiva's YouTube by adding a Musar shir, Musar/Hashkafa shir. We started the Sefer Orach Yoshir. We did the meet of MS today. We talked about HaKadosh Baruch Hu MS. I mentioned that one of the names of Hashem is Shakai, which is prominently featured on the tefillin, the shin on the bayit of the shel rosh, dalid and the knot in the back of the shel rosh, and the yud in the knot of the shel yad. When you tighten that, that's Shakai. So it's interesting. The word Shakai in English, how would you read it? Shady. Like this, based on what I was saying this morning, that of course your reputation to other people, to other Jews, and to most of the world should be an honorable reputation, should be looked at as an honest person, an honest and fair person. But there is a makom for sheker in a person, because as human beings, they have sheker, they have deceit in them, and if you want to get along, if you want to be a human being and get along with other people, and beat other people, right? Because this world is a competition, ultimately. It's, all right, survival of the fittest. If you want tov, yashar, tov is pleasure. Yashar is to be fair. Yashar, you have to, in business dealings, you have to be fair. You can't rip other people off. When it comes to going for the good, going for the pleasures in life, right? You have to beat other people. I mean, that if you want, there's only a limited number of pleasures in this world, and it's competition. Who's going to get the most? You want them all for yourself, potentially. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be selfish. I mean, it sounds Machiavellian. What is it? Was the Machiavellian, the Italian philosopher Machiavelli from the Renaissance? He says that. Oh gosh, what the heck? That's not good. It's in the shear. I had something in my tooth. Anyway, he says that essence of people going for power and all of politics is just for corruption. That's it, right? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The only reason people go for power is, and the only thing you can do with power is deceit and corruption. I mean, that's the source of all man's drive in politics, to become a powerful person. He's going to use that power for corruption and for deceit and for evil. It's very interesting that he says that. It's Machiavelli. He's known as the guy that advocates for people doing not evil. I mean, just power leads to corruption. So that's what he says, Machiavelli. So the idea is that a person should be looked at when you're doing, as mentioned, the tefillin is representative of cheshbon nefesh, and the parshios of the tefillin, right? What we're talking about, the parshios of the tefillin are what the words that are written. Those represent your machshava. Those represent the decisions you have to make in life. And those should be clear-cut decisions. You have to make a decision. You have to make it in black ink, black and white. You make the decision. You made the wrong decision. Do tshuva, but make the decision. That's the most important things. And then we mentioned that the hiduk, right? That you have to tie tightly the tefillin around your head and your arm. Around your arm is to extricate your emotions from your decision making, and around the head is to extricate those extraneous thoughts that are not relevant to your decision in order to make the proper decision. Those things have to be black. Those are the rituals. That's the essential rituals for the hiduk, for tightening around. Those are part of your decision making. Those have to be black and white. You have to do that 100%, all efforts in, all in. When it comes to the bottom, they're called bottoms. Referring to your house also. Bottom is your house that you live in. As my friend told me, a lot of people in vogue is to make their houses gray now. And technically that's the halacha. You can have gray tefillin. Shot, shade, shin dalid good. With shin is prominent, feature prominently on the bottom. Shady. It's okay to be shady in your bias in your house, in terms of your external appearance to everybody else. Like I said, you shouldn't have a reputation as a deceitful person, but also if you want to be a human being, you can't be 100% truthful. I'm not saying you should lie. I'm just saying in a case where it ended up being that uh, you're not telling the whole truth, you don't have to go and offer the truth when it's not being asked for you. You don't have to offer it when it's not being asked for you. That's representative of our bottom, how we represent ourselves to our world, our house. That's a status symbol of who we are. And that could be a little shady. I mean, people can say, oh, maybe, we don't know that he's a dishonest person, but, maybe he's not the most honest person. Well, that's okay. That's okay. As long as you don't steal from people and you don't take advantage of people and do things unfairly. If your reputation, your business dealings are shady, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. That's the difference between Ra and Russia, right? Ra and Russia. Ra is bad, right? A bad person, right? Connected to the mafia, organized crime, but Shin, you add Shin into Ra, it's Russia. Russia is somebody that is shady. I mean, he's not obvious that he's a bad person. It's not obvious that he's doing the wrong things, but it's not entirely clear that he's the most truthful person in the world. On the outside, you should, in your persona, your public persona, your reputation should be a clean perception, right? White, white reception. Perception. People should perceive you as an honest person, but the way you represent yourself to other people, that could have shady business, uh, shady uh, people. You can have a shady reputation, not a shady reputation. You can have a shady houses. There's no reputation. Reputation is people talk about you. What they say it's an honest person, but from some of your dealings, from your house, your externals, it could appear that it's gray. It's not black entirely white. That's okay, because it's part of being human is not being entirely truthful. To offer to be a tzaddik and to tell the truth when it's not being asked for you. That's what I have to say today for the Iyun Shulchan Aruch. I hope you enjoyed it. See you tomorrow.